let's dig into that a little bit. We have a guest that's going to be joining our show. I think he's ready to jump on. That is the head coach for your Orange County Soccer Club. That's Mr. Danny Stone. Coach Danny Stone. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate being on again with you guys.
Let me ask you the question about Sila. What have you seen from him in the preseason, in the training, and how exciting is it to have a player like that really has this chip on their shoulder that wants to prove how good they are? How does that help you as a coach make things a little bit easier in making the decision to give him some playing time?
Yes, I mean Usman has joined the group. Obviously, a new player into the squad this year. He's unfortunately missed a little bit of preseason with some injury. Just in the last couple of weeks, really come back into being able to train and progress with the team. So we've seen a few minutes out of him in preseason, not a lot at this point, and he's certainly a player that continues to need some management in his physical development, and I mean that in a preseason sense. He's a little bit behind some of the other players in terms of weeks that he's been training, but certainly we're very pleased to have him with us this year, and a very talented player that we know will for sure add to the squad.
And really quick, because I was talking about it, I did my research right now while we were talking about this. Sila was rated in EAFC 25 47. Do you think that's a little harsh for him, Coach Stone?
I'm probably going to take your lead on this one, if I'm honest with you. It's not something I'm hugely familiar with, but it sounds to me like you're suggesting it is a little bit harsh, so maybe I'll follow your lead on that one.
I will just say, honestly, in playing FIFA for like 13 years, I've never really seen many players rated that low. So, and this is his card while he's still sort of, I guess, part of Houston Dynamo. So, 47 is very interesting. What have you seen from this team in the preseason that gets you excited that this team can have a really good run in 2025 and hopefully be the last team standing lifting that trophy at the end of the year?
Yeah, we hope so. I mean, obviously, that of course is the intention going in, as will be for everybody, I'm sure. But through preseason this year, we've done a lot of training. We've worked hard. The players who have been with us from the beginning of preseason have done a great job. We've slowly been adding players into the mix as preseason's developed. And, some of that is just timing of signings. Some of it, as always, is waiting on situations such as visas to come through for some international players. All of those things play a part in preseason. And I think from a coaching point of view, you always go into preseason with almost an ideal and best laid plans, and very rarely does it sort of come into fruition in terms of exactly how you imagined it would do. But as far as what we've seen from the team, we're very pleased with the players that we've added. We're very pleased, of course, with the players who we made a big effort to make sure return with us. And I think the squad has a nice balance to it of experienced players, not only with Orange County, but in terms of games and underneath their belts, with some exciting young players who have added to the group in terms of their quality and their energy, and that's something that has a nice blend to it. I think I've been very pleased with what I've seen from that on and off the field. The players have gelled together very well. We've played some good quality preseason games this year. We've faced some tough opponents. We've faced several different kinds of opponents, which has been nice. So we've been able to, to see how we've coped and how we've adjusted with different types of teams playing different ways against us. And that's been something in preseason I feel has helped us and has been important. And obviously going into the first week of the season, of course, it's the first game, and you don't have too much knowledge in terms of how the team you're going to face will play and will operate, and that's something that you'll get more familiar with as the season develops. But for us, I've really liked the way the team have come together and the way that they've performed in general, mostly in training. The games have been very good in general as well. But we all know that preseason is a time where we load the players' legs quite heavily in terms of the physical demand, and that's obviously for good reason, to get them prepared for the season. So often, you're playing preseason games with somewhat heavier legs than you might do through the course of a regular season. And again, that's by design, and I think the players have both committed to that and coped with that very well in general. And now we're at that point where preseason comes to an end, and we're all very ready for the start of the season. We're very excited.
As we get started with the season, tail end of last year, your last 12 matches, I believe, 7-4-1 record. So first off, congratulations on getting the full-time job, if you will, and being here for 2025. I think you were privy to this. I think you were in the green room while this was discussed. But how do you envision your team playing this year? I know I talked about it last year. You didn't get much of a say of who was there. How is Danny Stone's Orange County going to get to reach 90 minutes?
Well, I think the underlying thing that we want to make sure we are is a very competitive team, which I felt we showed for that last 2 or 3 months of the season last year. Regardless of how we decide to play from more of a tactical point of view, we require and we demand that the players have good energy in what they do, good intensity in the way that they play and they work, and with and without the ball, we make sure we're a difficult team to play against. I think that was what you saw at the end of last season. There will be some tactical, I would say, evolution from where we left off the end of 2024, and again, some of that is down to players coming in that add some different traits and some different dynamic to the team. We're playing a way I think that suits the players that we've brought in, and we will like to try to play with some control of the ball, but without losing any of the verticality and the threat that I felt we possessed in the final months of last year. So without going too specifically deep into the details, I think you should expect, and I hope to see a nice blend of some control with some verticality in terms of how we attack, and some exciting players and some exciting team play that obviously the intention is to win this game. Simple as that. So not every game will look the same. Not every game will be approached exactly the same. That will be dependent on opponents and other situations that play a part. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the team can perform, in terms of building from where we left off last year and then adding, I think, some extra layers to that.
You led me to my next question, which was going to be asking if you had all of the pieces and players. And this is less of a question for me, but I think, some big departures this year. Are you fully satisfied with everybody that's come in?
Very happy with everybody that's come in. Yes, absolutely. I think, we will always be looking at potential options to continue to strengthen the squad. I think at the moment we are a good squad of players. We are relatively, I won't say small in numbers, but we're on the smaller side of a full squad, which is good. We're happy with where we're at, but that doesn't mean that we close the door on potentially bringing in another 1 or 2 additions, I think, to the group at some point if we feel the player that is right and fits what we're looking for, and obviously will add to the group in terms of quality and personality. So to answer your question, yes, very happy with what we have, and again, I've really liked what I've seen from the players, and we'll continue to assess things and see if we need to maybe add a couple more pieces and just maybe fill out the squad in the final weeks here and see where we end up. But as of right now, we are very happy with the players that we have available, and again, can't wait to get going with the real competition.
Awesome. Welcome back for a new season, Coach. I got 2 questions right now for you. First one is a lot of home games to start off the season. I think it's 5 of the first 6 games or 4 of the first 5 games. What's the mentality of the team going into the home stretch to start the season?
Yeah, obviously a heavy on some home games early on, absolutely, as you say. And I think really all that means for us is that we obviously want to hit the ground running, and the biggest thing for us is to put on a good display in front of the home fans. Really not thinking too far beyond game 1 at this point, and making that occasion on and off the field the best it possibly can be for everybody that comes out to support us. And as I've said many times previously, we're hugely appreciative, and we recognise and we feel the impact that the people who come and watch us play have on the team. And that was certainly noticeable in the final parts of last season, and I've no doubt that will be the same thing as we begin the season here. So yeah, it's nice to start off at home, and give our fans an early opportunity to see the team in person and get behind the team in person, and just as importantly for our players and our team to feel the impact that the fans can have. And again, it's a huge part of what we do. And the way that we play on the field, we hope is always representative of the people that come to support us. So that's a big thing for us to kick the season off at home is great, and we're really looking forward to that. And we will be doing everything we can to put a great display on for everybody that comes to watch us play on Saturday.
Awesome. One more follow-up question for you. A little bit of a league change when it comes to the schedule this year. Instead of having 34 league games where all of them count, we got 30 league games, and then we have 4 for the new Jägermeister Cup, which is going to involve all the championship teams. So, what's your opinion, and how is the team preparing to play in that little side competition alongside the regular weeks? Are we gonna look to try to win it all? Is those gonna be weeks where we test the roster a little bit more? What are your thoughts there?
The first answer is we will always go into games looking to win the game. Of course, any competition that we play in, the only intention is that we compete and we win those games, and we challenge and aim to win those competitions. So that doesn't change whether it's a regular season game or a Jägermeister Cup game or any other competition that we might be involved with this year. As far as the roster, at the same time, we trust the roster that we have, and we, of course, at times during the season will both choose to and need to rotate players and utilize the full roster. So I think the answer to your question there really is from a competition point of view, we will go to try to win every game that we play, regardless of competition. And the second part to your question is, yes, we will utilize the whole roster through the course of the season. That may not be specific, particularly to one competition versus the other, but we will certainly trust and utilize the players that we have at our disposal. And again, with the underlying intention that whoever plays, whichever 11 are on the field at any moment in any game, it's with the view to be competitive and to go and win.
Awesome. Great to hear all of that, Coach Stone. One of the, obvious things, and you kind of already touched up on it a little bit, but, from fans, and I'm sure you guys feel it in the locker room, is that, this season we did end up losing, a handful of probably, stellar leaders from the squad from the past couple seasons. And we also gained a lot of really talented players. So has this group had enough time in the off season to kind of really build that chemistry and vision for this new season, or do you think that's going to take a little bit more time for the new players to gel with the old guard?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me recognise the point that you make about the players who have moved on from the club. There are obviously various reasons behind those changes, as there always are. And first of all, there's a lot of players that we wish well in whatever their next step in their, whether that's career or life might be. And the players that have played for the organisation last year and then departed are very much appreciated and valued for what they've done. And again, we wish them all the best moving forward. Really, to then touch on the second part of your question, the reality is in soccer is it is a next man up mentality, and we add players to the group, and we've I've mentioned already, we've added some quality, particularly I think some new players into the squad who are younger players, talented players who will certainly add to what we can achieve this year. And the reality is, from a leadership perspective, we also have some new players into the group who are experienced players in terms of games. They are experienced players in terms of leadership roles. And I have no doubt and I have no concern whatsoever that we will have a great group of leaders within this squad again this year. And, things change regularly in sport. That's normal. And so the players who are here this year, it is their job now to create the culture and the mentality towards what they want to achieve this year. And that's, whether that is with some of the returning players and some of the new players, the reality is that has to be done. And, I've no doubt that the people that we've brought into the room are more than capable of doing that. I think we'll see this in the way that we perform through the season. I think the in terms of the quality and the level of players that we've brought in, that's an exciting prospect. And we've brought in some fantastic people as well. So both of those things, I think, go hand in hand. Pre-season is always, I think, both long and short at the same time, if I'm honest with you. So to go into pre-season always feeling that you have some time. But the reality is we are really 7 weeks into a long year, a long season. And the probably the fair answer to your question is yes, there's been definitely some cohesion and some continued improvement and development throughout the course of pre-season. But in 7 weeks, it's not possible to be fully ready in terms of where you hope to get to, of course, during the season. So there has been a good amount, I think, of progress. That's what I've asked for from the players. Progress above perfection at this point. And we'll continue to evolve, continue to improve, and that collaboration between the players and that that cohesiveness that you hope to see on the field will continue to develop. So we have a long way to go still, but it now starts for real this weekend, and it's a little bit like building a plane while you fly. So it's that's the reality now. We have to compete. We have to go and win games, and we will still continue to improve. And of course, there's a lot of room still to grow. And I've mentioned obviously players coming in at various times during pre-season. There's always an adjustment period, and we're certainly still in that phase right now. But that won't stop us attacking games, and that won't stop us, putting our best foot forward and going out with the intention to win every game we play.
That's fantastic. And yeah, I know we're all really excited to see that culture build between the team itself and between the team and the fans and all of that. So it's going to be a great 2025. As far as that all goes, this is your first season where you're, with us from start to finish. I'm sure a lot of kind of decision making and thoughts went into, signing on with Orange County for 2025. So just kind of real simple or complicated, however you want to look at it. What are a few personal goals for yourself as the coach now that you're here with Orange County, not as an interim, but as the head coach?
Yeah, good question. I think really from my point of view, the role of the head coach is obviously, of course, first and foremost, to aid the team in terms of what we put onto the field and how the team perform on a match day. There's a lot of roles that a head coach also has to perform day in, day out as far as the club goes, separate from the team as well. And a big part of, I think, what I always make a focus of mine is to develop the organisation that I'm part of as well as develop the team. And we have a lot of fantastic people with this club that now I've been fortunate enough to be around for around 6 months or so now. And that is obviously involved with the playing staff and the technical staff, but wider than that as well. Everybody that supports the team on a day-to-day basis, everybody with the front office has been fantastic, not only with me, but with the team in the time that I've been here. And a big part of my role is to help give back to them and to help bring everybody along with what we're trying to achieve here. Because the reality is that nobody's role is bigger or smaller or more important or less important. That full club mentality is absolutely critical to what we do. And again, my role is to bring not only the players together, but to bring everybody connected with the club together. And then ultimately to continue to improve the organisation as a whole. And that effect is, it sort of comes full circle. The more obviously we work at improving the club as a whole, the more that eventually comes back and points back towards the team and the players on the field. So the role of the head coach is, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Obviously the team itself and the players is of course a primary focus, but by no means the only role that I will play this year. My role is to be a great ambassador for the club and to help continue to grow, evolve, and improve the organisation in every way I can on and off the field.
Awesome, Coach. I got one more quick question before we kind of do our rapid fires. I've asked this of many a player, and I think it'll be interesting to ask as a coach. Typically, I ask, who do you model your game off of as a player? But clearly, as you are definitely on a different part of the field than the players, who do you model your coaching style and your career path based off of?
Do you know what? It's an excellent question. It's a question I've been asked a few times, and it's always very difficult to really pick one answer to that because the real answer is I don't particularly model myself or the way that I decide to work and coach on any one particular person. I really do feel that I've taken a lot of different aspects from many people that I've worked with personally and firsthand over the years, and also people that I admire from afar and have observed and watched. And I think the real answer to your question is it's a combination of dozens and dozens of people who have affected my career, both in terms of coaching knowledge and coaching aspects of things, but just as importantly from a human side of things. So I know that sounds like I'm dodging your question there. That certainly isn't the intention, but it is impossible for me to pick one person. Maybe next time we speak, I'll be able to narrow that down a little bit more for you. So give me a chance to think on that. But yeah, again, without wanting to avoid answering you, that is the most honest and real answer that I can give you. That's how it works.
Hey, Coach, you don't have to apologize. You don't even have to go and do some homework after this. I'm going to help validate this. And my co-hosts are going to get upset because they're going to hate that I say this. As a fellow coach, I coach youth soccer. I don't pick my style off of one coach. I watch a bunch of different things. I look at my players and I base my tactics off of that. I base the way I approach things off of that. I'm sure you do very similar things. It's
Absolutely.
not you're not hard-headed. You're looking at what you got on your roster and you're building your plan, your style, your coaching off of that to be successful. So Brad, I'm just letting you know I can validate Coach Stone, and there's no really one answer you can give on that. And I don't expect that from you next time you come on, Coach.
Yeah, and listen, I appreciate that. Thanks for backing me up there. I appreciate that. But I think also an important thing to mention in that vein is that your style, as you develop as a person, your style also changes, and the things that you value potentially change. And every day and every time I'm watching games, watching training, speaking with my coaching staff, and speaking with anybody in the game, it's you pick up ideas, you pick up moments, you pick up small comments that you think, what, that could work for me. That might be relevant to the way I like to work, and I can use that somewhere within my coaching structure. And it really is a combination of so many elements that go into that. Some of them have nothing to do with on-field tactical elements. I think the reality also for coaching is, as a head coach especially, you probably spend a lot more time thinking of the day-to-day off-field pieces than you actually do on the field, which sounds very strange for me to say for someone that whose job it is to coach a team to go on with the game of soccer. And of course, by no means am I saying that isn't a focus and we don't spend a lot of time doing that. But the reality also is that there are a lot of things from a human point of view that a team of 24 players and a staff, and like I said, a club collectively, there are a lot of things that really affect on the field, but they begin off the field, and that is a huge part of the thinking. And thinking time is critical. That's something I would say as a coach. I realise that more and more every year that I'm working. Thinking time and time to really consider things properly is a real skill, and sometimes it's easy to rush through that for the sake of getting to the next moment quickly. But thinking, I think, is a talent and a skill, and something that for me anyway, certainly the older I get and the longer I do this, the more I value that particular part of things.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Coach. Really quick, we want to let you go. Your time is valuable, but I do want to do this. We started this last year, some rapid fire questions, 10 questions, quick response, and then an added twist to this. I want you to see if you can guess what the theme of this week's questions are. So are you ready for it, Coach?
Let's do it. Let's go.
All right. Quick responses. Burgers or fish and chips?
Fish.
Barbecue ribs or Sunday roast?
Wow. Sunday roast for sure, but I'm a big fan of barbecue ribs.
All right. Apple pie or sticky toffee pudding?
Sticky toffee pudding, no question.
Pancakes or a full English breakfast?
For me, I'm a huge pancake fan. I'm going with that.
Awesome. Hot dogs or bangers and mash?
Bangers and mash.
Clam chowder or shepherd's pie?
Shepherd's pie.
Cheesecake or trifle?
Trifle.
Root beer float or cream tea?
Can't remember the last time I had either, but probably cream tea.
Buffalo wings or Cornish pasties? Pasties.
Pasties. Cornish pasties.
Pasties.
Yeah.
I got to say it right.
Pasties.
I apologize. I apologize for mispronouncing it. Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner?
Well, Christmas dinner. I'm a huge Christmas fan. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I am a Christmas guy. So I'm going Christmas dinner.
Awesome. For bonus point, what was the theme of these 10 rapid fire questions?
Well, I feel like it was something along the lines of British foods and British preferences, and I'm I think probably I've picked most of those options.
Yep. British versus American cuisine was the topic or the theme there. Coach Stone, we want to thank you as always for taking some time to speak with us, share some thoughts, ideas, and answers to questions with the fans and the listeners. We appreciate your time and best of luck. The home opener, also best of luck in 2025. And we hope we get to talk to you a little bit later on in the season when we've got some good wins and 0 losses still.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me again. I appreciate it, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again very soon.
Awesome. Once again, everyone, head coach for your Orange County Soccer Club, Danny Stone. As always, thank you, Danny, for joining us. That was fun. That was an awesome conversation. We love hearing from Coach Stone when he's been on the show. And we appreciate the time that the players, the coaching staff, and whatever share with us and join us. So thank you so much, as always, Coach.